I want to welcome you all to our 2022 Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And what makes this ceremony really special is it is College of San Mateo's centennial this year. So the college is turning 100 years, and we decided to, absolutely. We decided to have a little celebration and induct another class of really illustrious former athletes and contributors to our programs. My name is Andreas Wolf. I'm the athletic director here, and it's an honor to be here, standing in front of all of you, and especially our inductees. We're really excited about this event. We don't do it that often because it is a pretty big endeavor, but it's something that's very important to the institution, and there's a lot of history here. I want to give a few introductions. First and foremost, I want to introduce our college president, Dr. Jennifer Taylor Mendoza, right over here. Our former president and the current chancellor, Mike Clare. We have some former inductees here that are with us today. Mr. Bill Dickey, where are you, Billy? Where are you? Raise your hand. There you go, Bill Dickey. Bill Dickey, former football coach, athletic director. His name is on that wall. Mr. John Nochi. Raise your hand, John. And another former inductee, B. Godoy Chavez. Where are you, B? I saw you earlier. There you are. Good to see you. And I want to introduce a few members of our coaching staff here. And you'll hear about this a little bit later. One of the things we're really proud of, and a lot of hard work, our softball coach Nicole Borg, just coming off of a state championship from last year. We have I don't know, for some of you that haven't been around for a while, we've started women's volleyball a few years ago, and we just reinstituted men's basketball 4 or 5 years ago. We hired some fantastic coaches. I don't know if Katie, are you still here? Katie Goldhahn, are you still here, our women's volleyball coach? I know that she's here. Mike Marcial, where are you, Mike? Our men's basketball coach? Over here. Who else is in the house? Well, he's retired, but he's still on staff, and who we call the godfather of football at College of San Mateo. Where are you, Coach O? Coach Larry Owens, right there in the front row. It's putting on an endeavor of this magnitude takes a lot of effort, and without the support of a lot of different areas on this campus, it couldn't be possible. Our facilities crew did a great job in setting all of this up, helping us out with the monuments here. Our ITS folks are here doing all the sound, and you'll see them in the theater and up in the Bayview. Our marketing department put together our Hall of Fame program, did a fantastic job with that. And from the bottom of my heart, I do want to thank one individual who is relatively new, not new, but new in her role as the president. Dr. Jennifer Taylor Mendoza has been just a terrific supporter of our athletic programs, and so I want to thank you for everything that you've done for us and all of our students. So at this point in time, and the group that really does the heavy lifting here, there's a committee that puts this on. So I want to, at this point in time, bring our committee members up here. That means you, Larry. That means you, Gary, Jacqueline, all the committee members. Come on up. Where are you? Yeah, thanks. We got Fred, we got everybody, Gary, come on, Stephanie. It's taken hours upon hours upon hours to put this event together, and so we met. Fortunately, there's Zoom, which makes meetings a little bit easier, but we met over the duration of probably a year, more than a year. And our first step was to go back into history and try to determine who is of the stature and magnitude, who epitomizes what a bulldog really means, and going through all the history books and record books, and there's a lot of history right here. So that was the first step, and then planning this event, putting it on, coordinating everything was just, it's a heavy lift. And so without all of these folks, this could not be possible. So please join me in in thanking them for all the work that they have done to put this together. So my right-hand assistant here, Jacqueline Pagozzi, heavy lifter, man. She did a lot, so thank you, Jacqueline, for everything. Ms. Pagozzi. Rich Statler, retired former football coach, physical education instructor, lives down in Monterey. Thank goodness for Zoom, so Rich didn't have to commute up here. Hugh Lovelace is a phenomenal community member, former Bulldog. Went to Santa Clara afterwards. Will be inducted tonight. Hugh, thank you for everything. Larry Owens, goes without saying. Larry Owens has a lot of history of the institution, has been around for a long time, so it was easy for us to tap into his knowledge. Rob Dean, also a former Bulldog, currently our Chief of Public Safety, who's been a tremendous asset to us. Fred Bear has so much history. You ask Fred Bear who won the 400 meter in 1932, he can tell you who came in first, second, and third place. The knowledge that guy has is unbelievable, and so tapping into him as a resource was fantastic. Gary Dilley, my predecessor, as the former dean and athletic director here, who will serve as our master of ceremonies, who I think most of the inductees were contacted by Gary. Gary hounded you. I need pictures. I need your bio. Just a lot of heavy lifting that Gary did, and so Gary, thank you for everything. And Stephanie Martinez, she is up in our business office and has a lot of money, and so that's why I kind of wanted her on the committee to kind of, who knows, right? Maybe we can find something there. So again, please join me in thanking them for all the work that they've done to put this event on. Okay, you're excused. So most of you actually had an opportunity to meet some of our foundation folks when you were checking in. And I just want to kind of say a few words about our foundation. They've been really partnering with us the last few months. And without their support and contributions, a lot of this could not be made. So what you'll see is the catering at the Bayview venue up top was supported by the foundation. The foundation actually does a tremendous job in terms of raising money for our students, and we have what's called a Promise Scholarship, where a lot of our students get supported financially to attend college. And under normal circumstances, these are students that would not be able to attend college. And so out of the 900 plus students that they go out and raise money for, there's a good percentage of those students that are student athletes. And so I want to thank the foundation for their support. If you feel there are some QR codes up in the Bayview, if you feel so inclined, we ask for a generous donation to our program, and you can choose what program you want to donate to. But it takes a lot of resources to put on programs like this, and anything that we can do to support, anything you can do to help support would be appreciated. I'd like to, at this point in time, introduce our college president, Dr. Jennifer Taylor Mendoza, who's going to say a few words. Let's give her a nice round of applause.
Thank you. Well, hello everyone. Good evening. Isn't this a magical evening? Magical night? Go Bulldogs! Exactly. So I just want to welcome you to the College of San Mateo and our Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It is so wonderful after so many years of just transition, all that we've gone through as a community and a nation, that we can come together and celebrate and honor our inductees. So many families and people representing the beautiful diversity of our community. It is wonderful to see. CSM is an athletics college. Let me say that again. CSM is an athletics college. Athletics is one of our defining traits. But what makes us strong academically and athletically is not only our excellent coaching and athletic achievement, but our coaches' commitment to academics and academic excellence. Their vision and dedication in serving the whole student is inspiring, and it is what makes us successful. Tonight, we honor our proud legacy, and specifically the many individuals responsible for it. In considering our college's 100-year anniversary, think about that, 100 years. We can see how far we have come. As we celebrate 50 years of Title IX, give it up, 50 years of Title IX. We couldn't be more proud of our women's softball team led by Nicole Berg, who this year won the California State Championship. You deserve another round of applause. We have so many accomplishments to celebrate, both large and small. And often, it is the small things or the things that people don't really see that our coaches and staff do day in and day out that make all the difference. Students, you know this, attending students' classes, meeting students inside and outside of the classroom, working with faculty across campus, taking a genuine interest in the personal development of young women and men. This is what builds our CSM legacy. I want to thank Gary Dilley for serving as our host tonight. Gary Dilley embodies what makes CSM so special, and as a longtime dean and athletic director, continued and handed off the tradition of excellence. Can we give it up for Gary Dilley? I want to also thank Andreas Wolf, our current dean and athletic director, for organizing this event. It is no small feat, and so I appreciate all that you do and all that you do for this college. Can we give him a round, please? This is indeed a very special evening, and CSM is honored to share it with all of you tonight, our community of supporters and friends and loved ones. It takes a team, it takes a village. And so thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting CSM, and thank you for being true Bulldogs.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor Mendoza. Now I'd like to, before I get on to the next quick speaker here, our current head football coach is here. Tim Tulloch. We're going to win tomorrow, Tim, right? Big game tomorrow. Big game, fellas. All right, our next, I'd like to bring up now at this point in time our former president and current chancellor, Mr. Mike Clare.
Well, good afternoon. How's everybody doing? I got to throw in another Go Bulldogs. Go Bulldogs! All right. So I will tell you that I am the chancellor of our district, which means I'm responsible also for Skyline College and Kenyatta College. But I spent 31 years here, and I will tell you that every shirt, t-shirt, and sweatshirt I own has the word CSM on it. So I am always going to be a Bulldog. As I was standing to the side looking at everybody and watching kind of the interactions, what really struck me was a group of friends that maybe hadn't seen each other in a while and have come together. So, you know, we have this saying, and I think it's on our football field and our basketball courts, volleyball court, once a Bulldog, always a Bulldog. So specifically to our inductees, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for spending time with us this evening so we can properly honor you. It means a lot to us that you come back to our institution and spend time so again that we can honor you, especially in this centennial year. Thank you so much. Can we give a hand to our inductees? And what I especially appreciate about the way we do Hall of Fame here is so many of our inductees really earned that Hall of Fame distinction for what they did on the court, on the field, on the baseball diamond, the softball field, whatever. And we need to honor them. Some of you went on to compete at the highest levels, either professionally or collegiately, and I appreciate that. But we also recognize how important it is to have support personnel around you. So it is really neat to see that among our inductees, we have inductees that never put on a uniform or competed for CSM, and yet you're among the inductees as well, and that is really cool, and we need to give them a hand as well. And then finally, I don't really prepare, I just kind of talk off the top of my head, and I'm standing off thinking, what am I going to say, what am I going to say? And I happen to run into one of our current coaches, Joe Mangan. Joe was introduced before, and I have to tell you, he said something to me. He goes, you know what community college is all about, and community college athletics? It's about opportunity. So once again, thank you for seizing the opportunity that we gave you here. Congratulations, and with that, I'll conclude my remarks. Go Bulldogs!
Thank you, Chancellor Clare. Okay, we have a very special event for you here before we get into the ribbon cutting. I'm going to ask that all of our football team, come on up, guys. They're going to perform a little pregame performance for you that kind of gets everybody riled up. It's a tradition here at not only in the Hall of Fame, but before every game that they perform, and it kind of gets them prepared. And so it'll be a lot of fun. Do you guys want to go in? Yeah. Who?
They all want you, Rick. They want Rick. Rex, you got it. Lost my spot. Hey, love, man. I look at Hey, y'all gotta spread this way. Y'all gotta spread all this way. Y'all gotta scoot this way. Y'all gotta spread out. Boys, you gotta spread out this way, y'all. Spread out this way. Hey, y'all gotta spread this way.
Let's go, huh? Let's go. I don't know about you guys, but I want to go play a game right now, right? It fired me up. Hey, guys, good luck tomorrow, okay? Let's go get it done, all right? Okay, now for the moment we've been waiting for. I'm going to ask for all the inductees to come forward here. If you wouldn't mind, come on up here. We're going to station ourselves over there by the monuments. And Dr. Taylor Mendoza is going to do the little ribbon cutting for us, okay? So without further ado, Dr. Jennifer Taylor Mendoza, go ahead and cut the ribbon and we will unveil the monuments. Yay! And behind you, for all of your service and what you've done for the institution, you're now memorialized on these walls. So congratulations to our inductees. So, as I said earlier, it's really an honor to be standing here acknowledging all of these inductees and welcoming us into our class, the 2022 Hall of Fame class. And as I said earlier, it was no easy feat to select this class, but you look at these faces, you look at their accomplishments and what they've done for the institution and out in the community, and we're extremely proud to put your names on the wall forever. So congratulations, folks. So what you're seeing is an accumulation of both athletic success, academic success, community support, contributions to our programs, a whole bunch of things that really helps to support what we do here at the institution. And I'm sure each one of them will tell you later on that what CSM has provided them was a launch pad to their career. And it's no surprise that our current students are achieving the same level of success, which I'm extremely proud of. We transfer about 90% of our student athletes to the four-year level, each of them receiving a scholarship. And in total, that's about $1.5 million that these students are generating. So it couldn't be without the support of our coaching staff, the faculty on campus, our student support services. It really takes a lot to get our students through the system. We couldn't be more proud of the success rates that we've had. At this point in time, I'd like to acknowledge a couple of major things that occurred this last year. And I think you heard about it earlier because we're extremely proud of what our 2021 softball team did in winning the state championship. Yes, absolutely. It took 8 years to get there, right, Coach? But you got there, right? I mean, 8 straight years going to the state final. That says a lot about the dedication that Coach Borg puts into this program. She's put this program at the pinnacle of success in the state. And, you think about what all of our student athletes have gone through these last couple years with COVID and shutting down programs, and to be able to get them to put them into not only a mental and physical state to achieve that level of success is a tremendous accomplishment. So again, Coach Borg, congratulations. One of our former Hall of Fame inductees is here, and he will be receiving an award later on this year, in January, I believe. Coach Nochi. Coach Nochi is the recipient of the illustrious Lefty Gomez Award. So join me in congratulating Coach Nochi. Where are you, Coach? Where are you, Coach Nochi? There you are. So the Lefty Gomez Award is presented to an individual who has contributed significantly to the sport of baseball locally, nationally, and internationally. If you think about, we just talked about Coach Borg's success. If you think about Coach Nochi's success, coached here from 1962 to 1992, amassed a 772 to 412 winning record, which is phenomenal. He will be inducted at the ABCA convention in Nashville on January 6th. Congratulations, Coach. It's a well-deserved honor. And last, kind of going along with the theme of softball, with their tremendous success, Lafu Malipeai, thank you. I don't know if she's here, but last year she was voted NorCal Player of the Year, and more impressively, was voted the 3C2A, which is our governing body, the California Community College Athletic Association, Female Athlete of the Year, which is fantastic. So last year she was and she's a freshman, right? So as a leadoff hitter, she led the state in home runs with 18. In the final, in the state championship, she went 2 for 3, launched a tape measure home run, and scored 3 runs. In the state tournament, she totaled 11 hits, 8 RBIs, and batted an impressive .611. I mean, phenomenal. Absolutely, thank you. And all this she did after losing her senior season in high school due to COVID. So that's quite an accomplishment. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Gary, where are you? You having Gary, you here? I know you're not bashful. So, wow. We got some technical difficulties. I don't know. Hello? Okay. So, I want to introduce you to our Master of Ceremonies. Gary Dilly is thank you. Please give him a round of applause. As I said before, I came here at College of San Mateo in 2006. Gary was the former Dean and Athletic Director from 1988 to 2006. He's been a terrific mentor for me, a great role model. When you talk about somebody who bleeds blue, Gary Dilly bleeds blue. Whenever I ask Gary, and it's true about this institution, when you ask people, they say yes. You always get a yes, and that's what really endears me to this institution, is we all work together for the common good. Gary's been, as I said earlier, instrumental in carrying a lot of the weight of this program, and putting together the Hall of Fame program, reaching out to all of our inductees, et cetera, to make sure that we can get everything buttoned up. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn the program over to Gary. Congratulations. Here we go. Let's go. Let's do this.
Is this okay? Too loud. I feel like I almost don't need one, but welcome.
Where's our guy? Diego. All right.
That other thing, I never wore a mic like that before. It made me feel like an aerobics instructor. Let's all stretch. But maybe we're okay. And we're streaming. We're kind of testing out our sound right now. We're streaming, so Jerry in Helena, Montana, and my cousin in Batcave, North Carolina, and Nick up in Montreal, and Linda Herman in San Diego with her daughter who's in the Navy. Hello. Yeah. Dennis in Troy, Ohio. Hey, I think, is this okay? Great. Those people paid me to give them a commercial. So this really gave me a great opportunity to say hello to you. Thank you for being here. what we're doing is more than presenting some awards. What we are doing is adding to the culture of our college. A college should recognize success. College of San Mateo was formed in 1922 as San Mateo Junior College down in the flatlands at San Mateo High School. And its curriculum had to be approved by UC because the purpose was to make sure we had opportunities for students to be able to transfer either to Stanford or Berkeley. And College of San Mateo Junior College came into being. So we celebrate 100 years, we celebrate success, we help build our culture, we move into the future with this foundation, and I'm just so happy to have been a College of San Mateo student and to come back as an administrator and work in the athletic program. And so, I got a few friends I'm going to call up to the microphone and introduce them to you, have them tell something of their story, and present their Bulldog Award to them. Our first inductee is Mr. Fred Bear. Fred was hired 60 years ago by President Giulio Bortolazzo as the Sports Information Director. That early experience propelled Fred into a career that involved national and international sports. Your career is impossible to review in just a few minutes, Fred, but give us some thoughts about how College of San Mateo and you moved into the beyond. Fred Bear.
Thank you, Gary, and for all of your support in keeping sports information here. Good afternoon. We won't attempt to detail all of our connections with all of the other Hall of Fame members here over the past 60 years, obviously, and fortunately you have some bios in the program. There is time here to connect just a few dots, however. Yes, in 1962-63, as I was beginning as SID at CSM, I also did some freelance high school coverage of the San Mateo Times. So I was able to cover Dick Vermeil's teams at Hillsdale High School, where subsequently my 4 daughters attended. But that was before working with him when he came to the CSM campus to coach football the next year. It has been great to rave about the 19 Super Bowl rings by CSM coaches and athletes, including Dick Vermeil. I'm going to talk a little bit about Donna De Verona in a moment and not try to talk about everybody here because Donna and I have had an ongoing relationship in sports for this whole period. It goes still to this day. So after setting the Santa Clara University sprint records in the Speed City era in the region, where JC transfers to San Jose State, these from junior colleges, made San Jose the sprint capital of the world, okay? And I was fortunate to be able, as a white, slow student at Santa Clara, run over to San Jose State and was welcome there. When I came here to work at CSM, I was welcome as a post-collegian to run on the San Mateo High School track in conjunction with our workouts. One of our inductees here, Pat Daniels, who was an Olympian already at Cappuccino High, was not allowed. She had to sneak in after practice to run. That's how things were back then. So, important point. And really didn't connect with Pat, even though she was here at CSM back then, because we have no women's teams. Yet Pat was preparing for her second Olympics and to be the first person to compete in finally multiple events, the pentathlon. That's noteworthy too, as I'll mention. My first international trip was in 1967 to Winnipeg, Canada, to cover the Pan American Games as a freelancer for the San Mateo Times during the summer. Pat Daniels won the gold medal on the pentathlon there, her greatest gold medal performance. I happened to be able to cover that. This was a late honeymoon summer trip. Francine and I had gotten married the prior New Year's Eve, only a brief break during the school athletics year. That summer excursion also included going to Chicago for our first National Sports Information Directors Convention. So that led to eventually becoming the first JC rep on their board. So I'd like to introduce my wife, Francine. Please stand up. CSN graduate in nursing. Spent 40 years at Sequoia Hospital, primarily in the emergency room, taking care of people here locally, while also raising 4 daughters, all eventually student athletes. I was introduced to network TV during the 1969 State Junior College Track and Field Championships at Modesto JC, which were then held in conjunction with the California Relay, very noteworthy. That was a key meet on the world circuit at that time, equivalent of today's Diamond League. Dick Dank, the future husband of Pat Daniels, ironically, was a track expert, commentator, and researcher for CBS. Dick had to have all of the newsletters I published on JC Track and Field, which included, record breakers such as Lee Evans and Bob Seger. So Dick invited me to join the CBS crew as a spotter during my upcoming first summer European trip. After Dick left the network position 2 years later, CBS needed someone to continue the vital research work he'd been doing, and that job landed in my lap. That was very timely. So my journey to 16 Olympics began in 1972 at the Munich Olympic Games. As a CBS European track tour statistician, I was added to the ABC TV contingent for Munich, focused on expanded women's sports research, finally, and coordinating field event coverage with Jim McKay, who had some nice mentions to my work in My Wide World, his book. That was after covering the tragedy and everything else that happened there. I also there, Munich, so this is a noteworthy point, had the pleasure of working with future Women's Sports Foundation President Donna De Verona, an ABC feature reporter and Olympic swimming gold medalist, who had been on the 1960 and 64 Olympic teams with Pat Daniels. Donna emphasized to me, while we worked together, with the implementation of Title IX that year, which we're celebrating now, that ensured that my then 2-year-old daughter Bridget would have competition opportunities. And yes, all 4 daughters eventually competed on Hillsdale High School track teams, including track. They now travel the world, often to the Olympics with me. And here's the irony tonight. Oldest daughter Bridget is a KCSM broadcasting graduate who became the first women's CEO of 10 TV. Her current media company, 10 Media, is producing tonight's streaming coverage. But Bridget is multitasking from Rome, where she has just arrived as a producer of the Meet the Drapers TV show at Draper University in San Mateo. So husband Doug Michelson, however, is here, running a camera, helping in production. We make this a family event. Bridget spent the last week touring Amsterdam with sister Crystal, who's now on a vacation trip in Norway. Crystal's also a CSM grad who followed up with a nursing degree from San Francisco State through the program at Kenyatta College. She's now an oncology nurse at Stanford Packard Children's Hospital, but entitled to her vacation right now. Her twin sister Amber is here tonight. Amber, stand up. Again, we've got one of the 4 daughters here. The rest are watching on the screen. Amber is a civil engineer, project manager for block construction, which has many projects for our district, including the recent Kenyatta College Athletic Complex. We got everybody involved. Watching from Portland is middle sister Wendy, who is administration for Columbia Sportswear's Sorrel Division, which makes boots. And Wendy previously became the head running shoe buyer for Nordstrom's at its Seattle headquarters, after just starting here locally at Nordstrom. She has an AS degree in fashion merchandising. So yes, my JCCC research work has led to a parallel, primarily summer career in television, but following our JC athletes. I've been able to cover competitions on 6 continents, including many events through the old Soviet Union, to identify a little bit what's going on in Ukraine now. Ukraine once CBS from Moscow to Minsk, and Belarus, for a track meet, then to Odessa in Ukraine, because we had a woman, Mary Decker, who justified as a teenager on our senior team, leading our junior team, so we had to add a meet in Odessa. But now I know Ukraine, and I know how much the people hated the Soviet and Russian occupation, and never wanted to be identified as a Russian. So it's interesting seeing what's happening today, having been there firsthand. So, as I say, I can't talk about all my relationships with all the athletes. I want to fast forward to this past summer, the opportunity to interview Allison Felix at her retirement press conference at the World Championships in June, in Eugene, my 17th World Championship. She paid tribute to Pat Conley, her first pro coach you're going to meet soon, who did it the right way, saying that the time, Allison said that time with Pat was very special. And of course, I also had the privilege of covering most of Allison's career, starting in high school with my freelance work for USA Today. So finally, Pat Conley is still crusading for women, continuing to work with us in staging the Pioneer 10-event Women's Decathlon Championship at CSM. That's 10 events now. Pat was finally allowed to do 5 events in '64, and that's significant. The Women's Decathlon is now an official international competition, but women still do just 7-event decathlon at the Olympics, so we're working to get that up to 10. So anyway, I can't touch on everybody else I've worked with here, so I had to pick a few moments. I appreciate this, and don't want to wish to take any more of your time. Thank you very much.
In athletics, sometimes they call this game slippage. Fred was not actually our first inductee. I have some folks that were on the list ahead of Fred, and I missed them. So I apologize. After we present Cliff Giffen's daughter, Carol Lee, with the Bulldog, we'll have Fred come back and re-give his presentation. But I want to say a couple words about Cliff Giffen. Carol Lee, can you join me? No. I have the wrong sister.
No, you do. You have
No.
just go through them.
Would you like to come and get your dad's Bulldog? Okay. Wonderful. This is good. Carol Lee, good. Okay. Yeah, but with the lights thing, okay. Cliff Giffen joined the staff at College of San Mateo in 1958, was coaching football and swimming, became the head football coach, and then he became the athletic director, first the chair for physical education, and then the athletic director, and served for a number of years. One of the significant achievements in Cliff's administration was the implementation of sports for women. This is at the We celebrate today not only 100 years of San Mateo Junior College of San Mateo, but we also celebrate 50 years of Title IX. And Cliff Giffen was the athletic director, division dean for physical education and athletics at the time of this implementation. And we recognize his sterling work. He was, I knew Mr. Giffen. He was a wonderful person, very encouraging. And Carol Lee, we congratulate his memory, and we congratulate your family for sharing your dad with College of San Mateo. Thank you very much. One of Cliff's other kids, Mark, was a member of CSM football and basketball, so we're very proud of the Giffen family. Lars Jensen is represented here by his brother Thor. Lars and Thor were both outstanding wrestlers in high school, and we share something in common. MA Bears, go Bears. Thank you. Not quite at the same time, but Lars is being honored. He was the longtime coach at San Francisco State, developed a number of All-Americans, and Thor is also an outstanding wrestler in his own history and outstanding wrestling coach. Thor, congratulations to your family on this presentation, and I think you'd like to say a word or two.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee. Usually I'm a wrestling coach, so I could probably handle it right there. But I'd like to thank, as far as the Jensen family, I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee, the athletic department here at CSM, for thinking of my brother and putting him in the Hall of Fame. We both had a, upbringing in Menlo Park, and we went to Menlo Athearn High School, played 3 sports, came here. We were both going to wrestle. Well, we both wrestled for 2 years, and I played football here for 2 years, and started for 2 years. I don't know how I started, okay, because I never made all league, and I ended up starting for 2 years. And my brother, I think he was bored, and his second year, he played football, and he was on the football team, so there's no mention in his little bio that he was on the football team, but he was on the football team. And then we kind of split because we were fighting since the womb, and we had lots of fights. So my brother went to San Francisco State, I went to San Jose State, we both wrestled. We ended up wrestling 9 times. He beat me 8 times. In the duel between San Jose State and San Francisco State, he beat me 2-1 on a stall call. It was a cheap stall call. Okay? Still think about that. But then he was a competitor, qualified for Division II Nationals, wrestled Olympic trials, freestyle nationals down at Arizona State. He was top 12. He had a very good collegiate career, and then he became a coach at San Francisco State for 34 years. Had a lot of All-Americans, national champions, academic All-Americans. Tremendous coach. I miss him a lot. I really miss golfing with him. The last time we golfed, he beat me. I can't get him back. People I want to thank, obviously our coaches. If you know, I can't call him Ben Parks, because if you call him Ben Parks, you're running laps. It was always Coach Parks at MA. And then our coach here, Jim Jakes. The first year we were here as wrestlers, we had 4 guys on the team. And then he had the bright idea, let's go to Hawaii for a JC wrestling tournament. So the next year we had about 40 kids on the team. Although after the Hawaii trip, we had about 25. But Coach Jakes kind of got us, going at the collegiate level in wrestling. And I want to thank him. And then my brother went to San Francisco State, and Alan Abraham, football coach at San Francisco State, wrestling coach for 18 years, really helped out my brother in coaching, and my brother just kind of followed him into the coaching ranks. So I want to thank him also. Got to thank my parents. My mom's 98 years old. Her goal is to make it to be 100. Other people, I got my 2 older brothers here, Paul and Chris, and they kept us in line. And Chris attended CSM. And then I got my best friend Neil. My wife also is here. Lars's wife couldn't make it. She works at San Francisco State, couldn't get off work. She lives in El Granada. Lars's 2 children. His son played ice hockey all over the United States and Canada, and currently is the women's coach at Northern Alberta Institute of Technology up in Edmonton, Canada. And his daughter just got a teaching job up in the Portland area. So that's kind of our family. Also got to mention my father and my mother. They followed us all around Little League and, JC football. They were still attending JC football games and wrestling matches and tournaments, even though we weren't going to school here anymore and on the team. And they followed us everywhere. But my father was county coroner for, I want to say, close to 40 years of San Mateo County. And he attended CSM when it was down the hill in the 50s, and while he was county coroner, and he got his law degree, and he passed away in 1995, but he did a lot for us. He was also on the boosters here at CSM, the football boosters, when we played. So got to thank them. My brother always said, as a coach, you can do really well. You can get All-American, in wrestling, football, or whatever. But the happiest day for parents is when their kids graduate from college. That is the happiest day. And he always enjoyed going to their graduations and seeing them graduate. He also enjoyed his athletes, coming back and talking to them either on the phone or, new technology, text messages or whatever, and thanking my brother for, giving athletes at San Francisco State an opportunity to wrestle, And it's a Division II school. He won a national championship in 1997 with no scholarships, 0. He had kids that really wanted to compete at the Division II level. So that's amazing that a program, and it's the only national championship San Francisco State has ever had. It's amazing that they won a national championship. Now, the next year, the president of the university gave him scholarship money, so he had to deal with that. And currently, they still have a program, and they have the equivalency of about 3 scholarships, and the most you can give at the collegiate level is 9.9, and there's 10 spots. I'm breaking up here because my brother passed away a couple years ago, and it's quite dramatic. Stories. My brother always said, tell some stories. Well, the first one is when we were wrestling down at West Valley Junior College, and we had about 7 or 8 guys on the team, and near the scoreboard they have names, West Valley's names and CSM's names. So my brother goes, Coach Root was a West Valley JC coach. He goes, you spelled our names wrong. So he goes, yep, you're right. Instead of J-N-S-O-N, we're S-E-N. So, in the olden days, it was just the rope and whatever, kind of got the names down, changed our names. And my brother and me were the only ones that won their matches. So I guess it worked out all right. 2 other stories. Coach Dickey, I know I'm long, kind of emotional, but we're 5-0. We're playing football. We're at San Jose City College. And I think Coach Dickey wanted to fire us up. So he comes in the locker room before the game, and he goes, do you know what this is, guys? And everybody goes, nobody said anything. And Coach Dickey goes, this is a Jaguar. And it was a porcelain Jaguar like you get at a carnival or whatever. I don't know if he remembers the story. And then he smashes it on the ground. That's what we do to Jaguars. It didn't fire us up. We ended up getting our butts kicked against San Jose City. We're 5-1. We went on to finish 8-2 that year, beat City College of San Francisco. I heard they have a pretty good football program and tradition, and that was that. The last thing I'm going to say, I know I'm long-winded and just kind of spurt. I still remember this. The first team offense, which I somehow was on. I don't know if my dad paid off Coach Dickey so I could start or not, but we would run sprints after practice, the first team offense, everybody, the quarterback, the receivers, and everything else. So we're running 100-yard sprints down the football field, which was grass back in the days in 75 and 76 when I played. So one sprint, I beat the entire offense, okay? And I'm a 195-pound left tackle, okay? And I'm going, yeah, I beat everybody. Coach Dickey goes, if Jensen beats you, we're running more sprints. So we ran a lot more sprints, even though I beat everybody in the offense. So there's some stories. I definitely appreciate you guys putting my brother in the Hall of Fame. The last thing, I know I'm long-winded, wrestling is a great sport. At the JC level, there's only 22 junior colleges with wrestling, and women are wrestling, okay? And it's the fastest growing high school sport. I coach high school wrestling, and we have girls on the team. And at the collegiate level, it's really growing, okay? And at the JC level in California, they're going to have a spring girls wrestling season. So perhaps, maybe College of San Mateo, I don't know when the last time they had wrestling, could bring wrestling back. There's only one wrestling school, okay, in this area, or JC, and that's Skyline. Kenyatta used to have wrestling, so I got to, put that little, bug in the side that maybe we should have wrestling here again. Okay? Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not thanking anybody. Thank you, Thor. Yeah. I guess a lesson there is has something to do with cruelty to animals. Leave those jaguars alone. Is Drew Ryan here? Drew, where? Come on down. Drew Ryan's dad tragically passed away not too long ago. Doug Ryan was an outstanding offensive lineman. He started off at Sequoia High School as a running back. When he got to CSM, there were a number of other outstanding running backs, and so he switched to the offensive line, which doesn't seem to be a very natural change of position to me. But he ended up starting every game. He became a junior college All-American, had an outstanding career, and we are honoring him today. Now, one of the interesting things about this young man here, Drew Ryan, he also was a College of San Mateo Bulldog. He was a defensive back. He was an all-conference guy. He went to San Jose State. I saw him on television intercept a pass. He's the real thing. So, Drew, we're going to try to pick up our program a little bit. I'm just going to thank you for being here. And congratulations to the Ryan family. Drew Ryan, picking up Doug Ryan's. I'm going to give a real quick description of a fourth legend of College of San Mateo who will have a bulldog that we will put in a prominent place. This athlete's name is Les Steers. A lot of people don't know about Les Steers. He came from a little town way up near Eureka, went to Palo Alto High School. When he was in high school, he could jump higher than any of the kids over at Stanford. He set the world record 3 times. He attended College of San Mateo. He was a state champion in high school 3 years, state champion 3 years, and he was a junior college champion when he attended College of San Mateo. So Les Steers had the bad fortune of, it's not like I think World War II was, it came along and that wiped out the Olympics for 8 years. So he didn't have a chance to compete in the United States Olympics, but he was a United States champion, and we want to make sure that we have this outstanding prop. He had the world record for 12 years in the high jump, and he also was an outstanding javelin, discus. He could do the whole thing. So anyway, we're including Les Steers in our Hall of Fame. Our next... Our next inductee, this is going to be really quick. Ray Hisataki was a lineman and a track and field athlete for us in high school. You can read all this stuff in the program. But in high school, he went to Westmore. They didn't have football. He came to CSM at the encouragement of our coaches. He ends up becoming All-American, scholarships to Hawaii, and now is the Dean of Students at St. Francis High School. They have a football game tonight. Ray couldn't be with us. Accepting his bulldog is one of the assistant coaches. Is Hanson here? Is you know what? Kenny, would you please come and get... I'm not going to tell you who this guy is, Kenny Heron, who's going to pick up Ray's bulldog for him. If anyone here was hoping to see Granny Murray, she couldn't be here, and she sends her regrets, but she just couldn't travel from Southern California. Granny was all-state basketball player in the first team that Coach Tom Martinez coached here at College of San Mateo. She went on and played at USF, a year in Japan, and 13 seasons of rugby. And then she became a police officer and retired from the Los Angeles PD as a detective, and is now living in Southern California, and she sends her regrets. Our next inductee will be a person who is here. I would like to introduce to you and congratulate Tom Dooley. Tom had the good fortune of coming to College of San Mateo when the great Bernie Wagner was the track coach. Tom established 11 American records. He was on the United States national team from 1967 to 1980, 2 Pan American Games. In fact, between Tom and Pat Winslow Connolly, they represent 5 Olympics. So we're really honoring some tremendous athletes here. But I have something for Tom to ask. How did... Tom was a distance runner, but the most unusual thing happened, and he transitioned from distance running to race walk, which is one of the most difficult of athletic events. Tom, how did that happen? Tell us a little bit about that history. You got that one right there.
Thank you. Well, thank you for inviting me. Is it working? All right. I feel very honored today, and especially some of my first teachers are still here, and they're actually present, and they're honored members. 59 years ago, I showed up at the College of San Mateo when it first opened here. Brand new facilities, brand new track, brand new, everything was brand new, and I was just in awe of the facilities here and of the sunshine. I came from Daly City, where I never saw it. And it was a brand new experience for me. But joining cross country, from transitioning from high school to college, I met Bernie Wagner, who was a championship coach, and I was lucky enough to be on the league championship teams that he coached in 1963 and 64. At the end of those 2 years, as I was transitioning, getting ready to go to San Jose State, he was suggesting, because I was definitely not a star, is that longer and longer distances would be my forte. I had some endurance. So I said, how far should I go? And he says, what's the longest races around? And it was the marathon at the time. He says, that's what you should do. And at this time, most of you who weren't around at that time, San Mateo was empty in terms of Hallmark, Northern San Mateo, and Belmont was empty, and we could train all day in this area. And this was before Highway 280 was even created. And so I did that. Bernie suggested it, ran my first marathon, and then transitioned away and going to San Jose State. But just before I left, another member of the team said, I just went to a walk last week at the Millbrae All-Comers Meets, which Pat was there occasionally, and I said, well, I don't know what that is. Could you show me? So he showed me for 15 minutes how to race walk, and I went the next day, and I managed to win the race. So I thought, well, this is working out pretty well. And so, again, I started training seriously for it, and Bernie and Marcel, another honoree here, would check in to see how I was doing, and 3 years later, I was able to call Bernie up and say, well, I won my first American title, which I was very happy to, and said, but by the way, I walked the marathon 10 minutes faster than my first run, so I think I found my sport. So it was a bit of an opportunity there. I'll keep it short. I know I have to catch up here, but I was able to thank all the coaches. I did notice that John Noche is in the audience, and John probably doesn't remember that after practice, I would have to hitchhike back to Daly City, and he would give me a ride to Skyline Boulevard, then I could complete the rest of the hitchhiking when it was still safe to hitchhike anywhere. But I have great gratitude, extreme gratitude to the coaches and to all the teachers that caused me to go into education, for which I taught for 36 years, and try to repay back all the things that were given to me as an athlete and as a student. The postscript I have is in 2025, I'll be 80. And then I am still looking for another World Masters title. So wish me luck. Thank you.
One of the things that we didn't share with you about Tom that I think needs to be pointed out is Tom also has served about 25 years helping to train people for fundraising, team in training. Right, Tom? This team in training? Yeah, team in training for fundraising for leukemia research. So that's really giving back to his community. Today we also celebrate 50 years of Title IX. A week or so ago, I had a little conversation over at the Moonside, the Moonbeam Bakery in Half Moon Bay with Pat Winslow Connolly, and we talked about track and field, and we talked about her history. Pat, would you please come up here to the microphone? Pat is going to share some things with us about Title IX. When I talked to her the other day, she said, I am Title IX. And that's an intriguing statement. But just let me give you a quick. Pat's a three-time Olympian. At the age of just barely 17 years old, she won the United States Olympic trials, went to the Rome Olympics. She returned to the Olympics in 1964 and in 1968. She was a national champion in the pentathlon from 1961 to 1967 and again in 1970. She's a national champion in the long jump. She was an outstanding high jumper, multi-event athlete, but then she transitioned into coaching. And I think that's when I transitioned into letting Pat tell her story.
Thank you. That was all before. That was all before Title IX. I'm grateful for this honor But without the unique opportunities here in San Mateo, it's anyone's guess where I would be today. First and foremost, I have to thank my coach, the late Ed Parker. We started together in 1960 with the help of the San Mateo Women's Club, San Mateo Elks, and eventually the Millbrae Lions. I also have to acknowledge my teammates on those teams, Jackie Mack, Diane Calliam, and later on, Debbie Nelson and Jan Svensson, both Bulldogs. Jan went on to UCLA and made the 1972 Olympic team in the shot put. My biggest supporter was Jim Winslow, the late Jim Winslow. I met him in a poli-sci class in one of those bungalows on the campus down at Coyote Point. He went on to get his AA. I got an MRS, and my first son, Bradley Winslow, who, by the way, was a big boy, and carrying him around was great strength training because my shot improved 2 feet after he was born. It wasn't easy being a girl athlete before Title IX. I was home and my stepfather came and said, there's a girls' track meet at San Mateo High School, and he encouraged me to run. And he said, you might have a chance to make the Olympics. I had no clue what the Olympics were. My plan for a rough home life was to escape to the circus. But my mother objected big time. She said, nice girls don't run track. Besides, you have to prepare for the Miss Millbrae contest. Well, you see, I had been the best athlete in PE classes, but I played with an intensity that the other girls didn't like, not even the PE coaches liked it. But I beat the boys in play day foot races, and I could make home runs in the softball games. But I was in for a huge surprise when I got to that track meet. There was some of the fastest women runners in the country, and I took dead last in the 50-yard dash. And I was dead last in the softball throw because who knew back then we had a girls' semi-professional softball team. They had a league of their own. But I was embarrassed and I wanted to go home. I'd had enough until broad jumper Peggy Bell came over and took me by the arm and took me to the broad jump pit and showed me how to get my steps. And that worked. I not only won the competition, but I broke the record. And I took the gold medal home to show Mother. She was okay with the gold medal, but she was far more impressed with the fact that Betty Luperini, the current Miss Millbrae, was already on the track team. It wasn't easy being an athlete before Title IX, but our coach insisted that all the obstacles that were in our way would make us better, like climbing the 10-foot fence at San Mateo High School track after the boys had finished their practice and locked it all up. We didn't have many competition opportunities, and we often faced disapproval and ridicule. But we kept running until and breaking records until we were covered by sports writers like Warren Winecoop and Ron Reed and Fred Bear, and our pictures were in the papers. But they were not in Track and Field News, a local publication that considered themselves the Bible of the sport. They thought women were a joke. But can you imagine the Bible without Eve, Mary, or Jezebel? At the 1967 Pan American Games, all women had to submit to a gynecological exam in order to compete in the women's events. Fortunately, by 1968, when we went to Mexico City, all they did was scrape the inside of our cheek to get a chromosome test that would prove our femininity with XX chromosomes. Verifying our XX chromosomes was essential because some of the people in my events even were men dressed as women. I felt like Little Red Riding Hood finding out the wolf was in Grandma's clothes. But leveling the playing field in sports, it wasn't about gender or how we looked or what our sexual preference was. It was about having the ability to compete with all those guys running around with one little Y chromosome, and they were beating all the double X's. There were benefits to having that sex ID card that I got in Mexico City. I was stopped for speeding down on El Camino by a cop, and I handed him my sex ID card instead of my license. He looked at the card and he said, he laughed actually, and he said, "I'll let you go, you're just a woman driver." Anyway, at that time, Beverly Hills High School was anticipating the passage of Title IX, and they wanted a track coach for their girls' team and hired me. When I put on that hat that said coach, all the troubles and obstacles and stuff made sense for the first time. I love being called coach. Like Johnny Wooden, I love to be coach. But it still wasn't easy being a coach of a girls' team at schools ordered to comply with Title IX because of the disingenuous way the athletic directors and presidents were implementing it. It has been an amazing opportunity for millions of girls to get an education and an opportunity to play. But it wasn't until 1976 when President Gerald Ford came to campus at UCLA wanting to meet the first class of Title IX coaches. We lined up in front of the women's gym, and he went and shook each of our hands, and I was at the end. And then he caught me by surprise. He asked me a question. "What are you going to do about all those Russian women?" Clearly, he was frustrated, like many Americans, that when the USA competed in dual matches against the USSR, the Soviets insisted on combining the scores of the men's and women's teams. And because they had superior women athletes, USA lost those matches. Some of you may have gone to Palo Alto to see that match in '62, but we still lost because the women couldn't make it. My answer, Mr. President, that's your job. Like many people, he was not aware that the passage of Title IX was facilitated by the fact that U.S. women needed an opportunity to play scholastic sports like the men in order to be competitive on the world stage. I'm so thankful to be a San Mateo girl, where over 60 years ago, a girl had a chance. And on this 50th anniversary of Title IX, on the 50th anniversary of Title IX, I hope there will be no changes. Hello, is that it? Okay. Okay, I'll start over. I'm thankful to be a San Mateo girl because that was long before Title IX and it wouldn't have happened in many other cities. But a girl had a chance back then. And on the 50th anniversary of Title IX, I hope there'll be no changes to it that takes away that opportunity. I'm thankful for this honor. No wonder after many years away, I came home.
Thank you, Pat. Congratulations on a great career. And we're happy to present you with a bulldog. I'd like to introduce to you a very important person in my career here at College of San Mateo back in the day when I was a division dean. And this is a member of our division who transitioned into the social science division. This is Angela Stocker. Angela, could you come over here, please? You'll read in the program some of the wonderful things that Angela has done, but just let me say this, and I know Larry and some of the coaches will agree. Whenever there was a question about, is this the right way to do something, or in helping some of the athletes with some issues that could be some substance issues or just general counseling kinds of things, Angela was our person. And so we're recognizing her good work, and we're thanking her and giving her a bulldog, because she is one.
Thank you. I received the service award, and I think that's because serving the coaches, and you know, as I stand here, I certainly have a lot of stories I could tell you, but I won't. First of all, Julio Bortolazzo, who was the district superintendent while the College of San Mateo, and then expanded to the Skyline Cañada. I had an interview, and I was warned, just go in and be direct. So I went in, and he said, do you believe in busing? And I was teaching in the city, and I said, yes and no. He said, what does an answer like that? So I explained what happened in the city, because it wasn't done well. He said, if I hire you for dance, will you do performances? I said, yes, 2 a year, but you're going to give me money. And he looked at me, and I said, no, I won't take the position unless you give me funding to do 2 performances a year. The performances we did is on the stage right here that I'm standing on. So then he said, asked me different questions, and then he said, I'm going to call in your supervisor in the women's department. At that time, it was a women's department and men's department, 1964. And Jenny Burton came in and sat down. He said, I hired her already. So you just give her the orientation. And I looked at her and I felt sorry because she didn't have anything to say about it. Then he said, now you're going to the division. The division director is Gordon Gray. So you go tell him that you were hired by me and that he has to give you money. So imagine going over to the education division director of physical education and saying, I just got hired and you need to give me money. So that's how we started. Then what am I doing over on the athletics? Why aren't I in the theater? I mean, dance is a theater art. So, but I was with all these coaches, and then we had a large women's department, so I was on the women's side. Eventually, of course, I was switched to the men's side. Here I am, always with coaches. I love our coaches. You have no idea. They are really, really care for their students. They come in. We even organized a class that I would work with students so they would be able to pass exams, that they're a student first. And so I've had a wonderful long history. When I took a leave from dance because I was so injured, I switched to social science, had to get another master's in therapy, individual and group therapy. So I started the addiction studies program, which is also wonderful, working with wonderful students and making a difference in their lives. I want to tell you, I have had many presidents, district superintendents, deans, a lot of changes, but the one thread that ran through everything is we are about students, we are about keeping them, and our programs have very high retention rates, they have high graduation rates. So that says a lot for the college because we are an educational institution. And then you saw all those beautiful, beautiful young men doing that. I went up to them, I said, you ought to be in a dance class. You ought to learn performing. You were amazing. And they just smiled. So we have always been about students. I retired, supposedly, when I turned 65. Gary said, you ought to retire. They're offering good stipends at the state for you. And I did. Well, I'm still here. 20 years later, I am finally stepping down as a professor and director of a program. And I want to thank everyone whoever took a class, was in a class. Oh, by the way, you have no idea what they made me teach. I taught archery. I taught tennis. I knew nothing about tennis. I had to learn. I taught golf. Oh, well, golf was interesting because I let my students hit the ball anywhere, and then I'd yell 4 loud. So then we had complaints from parking lot 3 and from, there are tennis balls over here hitting our cars. Well, I didn't care because they were really driving that ball well. I didn't know anything about golf either, but we had a great time, and it was on and on as far as being a member of this faculty, and thank you for the honor.
Angela may not be continuing working at CSM, but she's on a number of state boards with substance abuse and addiction work, and she's a dynamic, wonderful person. And congratulations, Angela, and thank you for all your time. Where is Christy McCoy? She's right here. Christy McCoy was an outstanding softball player. She was a pitcher, and she became an outstanding batter as well. From CSM, She became the state pitcher of the year. She went to Nebraska. She was an All-American at Nebraska. We're extremely proud of you, and we're very happy that you are now a member of the College of San Mateo Athletic Hall of Fame. And Chrissy, I think you, who were the people here at CSM who left a lasting impression on you that helped direct your future? Instrumental people, and how was CSM essential in your future? You might have to use this because.
This one? Okay.
Hello.
Oh, it's working. Oh. Yeah? Working?
You're on your own.
Okay, I'm on my own. So, when Mr. Dilly asked me this question, I thought it's so appropriate since it's the 100-year anniversary to just honor 100 people. Just kidding. Totally kidding.
Hey, I'm getting a little hungry.
I know. No, I have 3.
Okay.
And they're short and sweet. So first of all, I want to thank everybody. Thank you for this amazing honor, and congratulations to all of the other inductees today. So congratulations. So one of the people that I want to say who was an instrumental person in my life was actually an academic counselor here. She has passed. Her name's Gretchen Krusik, and she really helped me in driving my academics to really becoming a student athlete, and helping me drive the course to become a pitcher DP at the University of Nebraska. We remained close through the years, spoke often, and we got to actually reminisce about Nebraska also. Number 2, the great Tom Martinez. So he taught me all about life. Yeah, definitely clap it up for Coach. So he taught me all about life, the person, the coach, the mom, the human being that I just wanted to be. He challenged me, he yelled at me, but I always knew as long as he was yelling that he was still teaching me and that I still meant something to him, because I was going to be nervous when he stopped yelling at me. He taught me how to fight. He taught me how to drive. He found the dog in me. He taught me how to be humble, yet confident. So I'm a coach today, and I still use a lot of his teaching methods with my students. I kind of leave out some of the bad words. I just go for the good words. But most importantly with Coach is he taught me life lessons. And he taught me some of the life lessons that I'm hopefully teaching to my children right now, Evan and Addison. And last but not least is the man who is the yin to the yang. The man who kept me laughing and learning. The man who gave me my nickname. The man who would come over and put his arm around my shoulder and say, "You've got this, C-Love." I am immensely grateful for his teachings, his carings, his tough love, and even more life lessons that he's given to me. And I am beyond honored to be sharing the stage with my coach, a person I'm so very fortunate to also call my friend Coach O. Short and sweet, thank you.
Chrissy, congratulations. Continuing with a softball theme, we're honoring and inducting Harley Donovan. Harley. Harley, as a freshman in 2015, you were first team All-Americans. You led the state with 20 home runs and 78 RBIs. You were all everything possible. Your second season, California Player of the Year, All-American, state home run record with 37 for her career. She went up to Southern Oregon and Ashland and became an All-American there. Harley Donovan, you are something special. Harley will talk a little bit about the people who impacted her most in her career.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. It's an honor to be inducted today with so many other amazing athletes and people, as well as one of the best teams ever. Like, to be up here with you guys is pretty special. I would like to start by thanking the College of San Mateo. This institution means a lot to me, and I feel special to be here. Nicole Borg and Toby Garza, it's weird to call you that, but the whole coaching staff, you've embraced me day after day, poured into me. You helped me become a disciplined athlete and mentally tough. You impacted me more than I could ever express and truly changed the projection of my life for the better. More than just coaching me as an athlete, you made me a better woman. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. I'd also like to thank my teammates. The memories we made on and off the field are some of the best in my life, and I'm so thankful for our journey together. Every team had its own magical experience. We embraced the grind together, and I know I would have been nothing without my teammates. You guys made it all worth it. My family was instrumental to my playing career. You made me and my career a priority, and you were always at every game and supported me 100%. And my whole family is up in that top corner, so thank you guys. I also gained some new family. My in-laws, Roberta and Al, they made a special trip down here, and my new husband is also here, so thank you for being here. I'd like to thank my parents, Sean and Shannon Donovan, who made me feel like what I was doing was really important. You helped me to trust the process and fully embrace the commitment. You humbled me when I needed it, but you held me up through the struggles, and you always reminded me how proud you were. And Dad, you always had videos to show me everything, from the big whiffs to the big dog home runs. Next, I would like to share some words from my dad that impacted me deeply. Anytime I started to complain about those long bus rides, weather-delayed games, sore muscles, or hard days, my dad always reminded me to just enjoy every moment. He said that with a big smile. And while it's a simple quote, I realized that deep down he always remembered all of this would come to an end someday. Most retired athletes can look back and wish they had cared more, tried harder, or done things differently. My dad helped me stay checked in. He helped me realize I can embrace anything in front of me in life and make the best of it. It's all about mindset and your own personal buy-in. I look back gratefully that I was humbled and brought back to this quote through the hard times. I can reflect and truly say that I enjoyed it all. Lastly, I'd really like to share this recognition with all of you who I've mentioned and all the other coaches and people who've poured their passion and love into me throughout these years. I took pieces of all of you with me through my journey, and you all made me who I am and made my successes possible. Thank you.
Well said, Harley. And Harley, you could stay right there because we're going to bring up the 2015 softball team. I will be introducing the players of that team, and then head coach Nicole Borg will introduce the coaching staff. Lauren Berriatua is going to give us a little update of the little capsule of their season, because it was an incredible team. Okay, so Leilani Akai. Lauren Berriatua. Lauren, just stay right here with me, okay? Good, thanks. Okay, Caitlin Chang. Lacey Crawford. And you've met Harley Donovan. Casey Edwards. Kate Larson. Christy Peterson. Melina Rodriguez. Janelle Rubio. Kayleen Smith. Brittany Wilkerson. And Riley Wells. This is Coach Nicole Borg. Nicole, please come on up here. Would you do us the honor of introducing your coaching staff?
Dale Bassman. Toby Garza. Denise Fabris. Dave Lewis. Matt Lawrence. I think Matt left. He has twins, newborn twins. We'll give him a round of applause. And Michelle Tating, who's not with us tonight. So I'm going to steal the mic for LB because she does not want to talk. I'll be fast, I promise.
It's a deal.
I want to thank some of the people in this room that were my biggest support as well coming up. I was an athlete here. This will be my 20th season, 17 years full-time, but 20th season overall in this program. Coach O was and still is my biggest supporter. So thank you, O. And two other inductees that help our program every year, no matter what the job is, Fred Bear and Ken Herron. So I'm just going to say a few words about this team. This team was the first team that I truly believed was going to win a state championship in my tenure here. And this doesn't go without having an amazing group of young ladies, an amazing coaching staff. People always congratulate me. I didn't do this on my own. It took a village. It took from the top down, from the administration to our alumni, to everybody here on campus that was a huge support. This team went 35-0 on the regular season. Vern Glenn actually came out and interviewed us. He filmed our practice. It's on YouTube. You should watch it. It's pretty cool. But, you know, to have a group like this that actually really liked each other was everything to me. And we came up a little bit short, and people always talked about how that state championship eluded this program. And here we are, 2022 state champions. But this group, their grittiness, their toughness, and their willingness to just be their very best is really what set the precedence in this program. Tom started it a long time ago. I'm grateful for the opportunity to, quote unquote, try to fill his shoes. He was a great man. He was my mentor. I miss him all the time. I wish he was there, but I know he was watching from up top when we won that state championship. So this team is everything to me, and it says a lot that there's 10 out of 13 players here. The entire coaching staff is here, and they've been with me the entire time. Even Denise and Dave that are no longer coaching with us still check in regularly, and this is a family. So President Taylor Mendoza said earlier, CSM is an athletic school, and we very much pride ourselves in excellence. And on the day that we went 35-0 to complete the very first perfect season at the College of San Mateo, the entire baseball team, football team, basketball team, almost every athlete on this campus was there to witness it. So that says a lot about where we're at as an entire division. And I thank everybody for your support and inducting this amazing team into the Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Coach. We're going to stay on the diamond, but this time it's the baseball diamond. I'd like to bring up to the microphone Mr. Pete Jensen. Pete, you were here in 1969, 1970. CSM won championships. You went to San Jose State and you played there. You became a teacher and a coach at Sarah. You had 13 conference championships at Sarah, 4 CCS championships. You had a 76% winning percentage. You are an outstanding teacher, outstanding coach, recognized by a number of Hall of Fames. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to the College of San Mateo Athletic Bulldog Hall of Fame. Pete's got a few people that he'd like to identify who were instrumental in his career. Take it away, Pete.
Thanks, Gary. First of all, I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for this great honor. I'm a little bit overwhelmed and was surprised. I would also like to congratulate my fellow inductees, particularly Barry Spraja, who was my teammate over 50 years ago. There are so many people that have had an influence on my 40-year-long career. So we don't have near enough time for that, but I do have a few people that I would really like to acknowledge and talk about. The first is a true Hall of Famer in my life, my wife, Robin. She has been alongside me the entire time. We celebrated our 50th anniversary this year. She's been, thank you. She's been at my side since we were sophomores at Hillsdale High School. She's been with me both as a player and in my coaching career. She has supported me through some tough times, but she's also supported me through a lot of very exciting and fulfilling times. Together, we've created an unbelievable family. Our kids, Ty, Keely, and Courtney, have been the center point of our life. Robin kept me in balance between family and coaching. I would like to, at this point, introduce my family. If they'd stand up, please. If you can see them. My wife, Robin, is in front. Our son, Ty, his wife, Janelle, who were both Bulldog athletes in baseball and softball. Their two kids, Parker and Caden, both young athletes that I'm enjoying the heck out of watching. In 1984, in my first varsity season at Sarah, during the week of the CCS championship run, we were blessed with the birth of twin girls. Keely is here tonight with her husband, Jeff. What'd you sit down for? Keely's here tonight with her with her husband Jeff Harris, and also their new 3-week-old baby, granddaughter Morgan. They also have a 4-year-old son, Carson, who is not here tonight, but I love him dearly and miss him. Courtney, my second daughter, lives in Portland and was unable to attend, but we miss her also. The next person is the best teacher and coach I've ever been around. Homer Gelder is the reason why I decided to teach and coach. Homer was my high school basketball coach. More than that, he was a great mentor. He showed me the importance of caring for your teammates and doing things the right way. Homer and I developed a great relationship that lasted until his passing. Homer's spirit will be with me forever. Next is the man that I owe much of my baseball success to, John Noche, or Skip, a name that I have called him since our days in Drummondville, influenced me more than any baseball man I've ever seen or ever known. I was fortunate enough to play for John for 2 years and coach with him for 1. In those 3 years, we went to the state finals twice. Skip showed me that winning is a process. It's a result of discipline, working harder than anyone else, skill development through teaching, and doing things the Bulldog way. I'm so grateful to John for helping make me the coach that I became. The next person I'd like to mention is a gentleman by the name of Rich Jeffries. Rich is a former Bulldog. He played on John's first team. He was my assistant coach for close to 20 years. Besides being a good player and a great baseball man, Rich is an unbelievable teacher. He knows kids and what it takes to help them perform at a top level. I truly benefited from having Rich by my side. To wrap it up, I wish I could thank everyone that had an influence on my career, but there's not enough time. I'd like to say that I was blessed with fantastic assistant coaches and hundreds of great players. Without them, this would not be happening. Thanks to all, and go Bulldogs.
Thank you, Pete. Good job. One of Pete's teammates, Barry Spragia, is with us from Sparks, Nevada. It took come on up, Barry. It's a heck of an effort to come down on this type of a weekend, and I really appreciate you being here, Barry. 1969 and 1970, you guys had great success. You were a pitcher. You were CSM's first 20-game winner. You transferred to Washington State. You were All-Pacific 8. You were on the All-Pacific 8 team. You signed with the Red Sox. A pretty impressive baseball career, and we're really proud to have you as part of our Athletic Hall of Fame, Barry. There's some unforgettable Bulldog memories that you'd like to share with us, and I'd like to hear them.
Sure, thanks, Gary. First off, thanks for the applause. I haven't had an applause like that since I asked my wife if she wanted to make dinner for her last week. Anyway, I know this has gone kind of lengthy, so I'll try to make this as short as I can. So anyway, let me just look at my list that I have for you. Let's see. This is the honeydew list. It's not really my list for you, but it's clean the garage, mow the lawn, and bathe the dog. We don't even have a dog. What are you talking about? I don't know about that. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, I just want to tell you I'm really honored to be here today. It was very surprising, to say the least, but I would really like to thank all of you. You're what CSM's all about. And I thank you all for what you've done for this great institution. Okay, I'm present today because of one man, and one man only. It's longtime CSM coach, John Noche. John Noche has done so much for baseball in his 30 years here, and I'm really glad to hear that he was nominated for Lefty Gomez Award. He's well deserving of that. In 1969, CSM was the predominant JC in the area, and its baseball teams had built a reputation of excellence, all guided by
Coach John Noche. His reputation preceded him. Coach Noche was an educator, a taskmaster, and drove his teams to excellence. His teams were an extension of himself and his competitive nature. They were noted for their baseball fundamentals and attention to details. He prepared us well, and we expected to triumph, which we mostly did. I can still remember the pregame infield and outfield drills, which psyched out the other competition mostly before the first pitch was even thrown. That's how much we practiced that, and it was excellent to watch. In 1969, approximately 150 players came out to make the squad. I don't know if 150 players, I think Skyline was just barely started at that point, maybe Kenyatta a little bit. But 150 players came out, and I think there's 20, 25 players on a team. And I remember, I was a pitcher, and I remember there was like 40 people coming out for pitcher, and I thought, I got no shot here. This is crazy. But for some weird situation, the coach saw something in me that maybe I never saw in myself. And he gave me a start. And the start was a good start, and it developed into another start. Before you know it, I had a 2-year career at CSM, and eventually parlayed that into a scholarship at Washington State University, all by John Noche. He went to bat for me. He went ahead and explained to this coach who'd never seen me play before, and he gave me a full-ride scholarship without ever seeing me. And it was all because of Coach John Noche. From there, I graduated from WSU, Washington State University. I majored in police science. I eventually took a career in law enforcement. I was a CHP officer for 28 and a half years and retired. And I would just like to say one more thing. Coach, you know that, I don't know where you're at out there, but you know that $20 you promised me I think you should jack it up to about 40 for all these nice things I said about you. But anyway, thanks again. Hey, Coach, you're the best.
Barry, this way. Gavin Long is going to be our next Bulldog inductee. Gavin's another pitcher. (1974, 1975), Gavin completed every game he started. One was 12 innings, one was 16 innings, one went about 3 days. It's incredible. You got a scholarship, University of Miami. You had 15 wins and 16 starts. You were first team All-American. You are, as they say, the real deal, Gavin Long. And your son came and was also a fantastic baseball player here at College of San Mateo. Gavin, you want to recognize some teammates and coaches who made an impact on your success. The mic is yours.
Thank you very much. My back's killing me. How about yours? I've been sitting here for a while, but for great honors. Of course, thanks for the board for voting for me. And first one's first is Coach Noche for nominating me to be up here. Great honor, unexpected honor because of all the great ball players that have played here before me and after me. To be up here in front of you, it's a very high honor. I have to say hello to my lovely wife, Catherine, first. I'm going home by myself. Just kidding. Also, saw a couple of my players here also. Mike Galvin, my friend for 48 years, was the MVP of our sophomore team, batted .396. He was sitting right up here. And also Joe Berriatua was another great ball player who played with me. I think he's here in the stands also. We had great players, and the college has always had great players. And before I decided to come to CSM, it was either basketball or baseball. And if you were going to play baseball and you wanted to climb the ladder and play well, and win and learn the game, you came to CSM. It wasn't easy. There was a lot of competition. Every player here was all-league or MVP. And the great thing about it was they're all from San Mateo County back then. All the 3 leagues and the West Catholic League. And when you got on the field and looked around and saw all these players you grew up with and played against as kids, and then they were on the same field with you, it was awesome. You looked around, you knew we were going to be a good team. And as it turned out, we were. And it was fun to play. It was fun to practice. Coach did a great job. He was by himself, and he took care of all of us. And if you didn't stay in line, you were going home. That's just the way it was. My freshman year, I came up, and the sophomores always had a little bit of an advantage to play. I don't know why, but they did. And so back in those days, there was no relief pitchers. There were starters. That was it. Starters went the whole game. You're playing. You're not coming out. So we had two sophomores already there, Jim Lesgard and Mark Souza, who were already number 1 and 2, coming back from the state runner-up team. They were good pitchers. And I had to battle against 13 pitchers for that number 3 spot in the rotation. So I got the Saturday games, or whatever else I could get. But that's the competition we had back then. So I won that 3rd spot. And after that, my second year, we came back and beat Chabot, of course, and went on to Northern Cals. But when I went on to University of Miami, the head coach there, Ron Frazier, said to me, all our 3 starting pitchers are going to be gone. They're not coming back. They signed. Well, when I went back east, they were all back. Of course. So it was just a matter of time. But from the competition and the level that I had from battling all these guys at this team in San Mateo County, I was ready to go. This was just another step. I was ready because of the program here at San Mateo, led by Coach Nochi, and the system. It worked, the discipline, and all the things you had to sacrifice for the team. It was always a team game. And one last thing I wanted to say before I leave here is pitchers aren't as good unless there's a good catcher. I had a great catcher. Stu Bringhurst was a great catcher, and everywhere I went and played, if you didn't have a good catcher, you're in trouble. So my hat's off to any catchers out there, and any good pitcher knows a good catcher really, really helps out a lot. So thank you very much for this honor.
Congratulations, Gavin. The outstanding careers of these 3 baseball players and then coaches is a wonderful testament to the great coaching of John Nochi. So thank you, John, for helping develop Hall of Fame players. Cammie Carroll was an outstanding track and field athlete. She also was an outstanding soccer player at Kenyatta College. Cammie, come on over here. Cammie competed in the 2000 state meet in the hammer throw. In 2001, she came back to the state and she won it, and she also was second in the discus. At CSM, she competed also in sprints and on relays, and I mentioned her work at Kenyatta with the soccer team. She transferred to San Francisco State, where she was an NCAA All-American. She was 3rd in the nation in the hammer throw in 2004. We're really pleased to induct you into our Hall of Fame. Cammie, would you like to say a couple words about your coaches here or teammates? Coach, okay. There you go.
Thank you. Okay, I don't even know what to say. I had the most amazing opportunity to be seen in high school by Mike Lewis, my coach. Amazing, the most amazing human on the planet, and probably one of the best coaches in the world. And I'm so blessed to have him because I probably would never have picked up a hammer. I didn't even know what a hammer was or a discus. I was a sprinter. I like to go fast. And he's like, found me, and he's like, well, you want to be a thrower? And I'm like, nah, I'm good. No, no, not for me. And then, of course, his partner in crime, Nicole Carroll, who was an Olympic javelin thrower, I looked at her, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. She had a 6-pack, she was ripped. I'm like, okay, she's badass. I want to be a thrower. So I am so blessed to be here today. And I came back this week. It's been almost 20 years since I competed. And first thing I did was go to track practice and pick up a hammer, pick up a discus, and felt like home. So thank you very much. And yes. Sorry.
Thank you, Cammie. Cammie. Take a bulldog home. Dave Hansen was a pretty exciting football player. He was a all-league athlete at South City in football, basket. You played basketball? Basketball and baseball. One of the outstanding baseball players in San Mateo County. But it was at College of San Mateo that Dave did some remarkable things on the football field in 1990 and 1991. And so, Dave, what were some of the significant events you remember here at College of San Mateo? I remember a few of you on the field. Tell us, what are some of your favorite ones?
Thank you, Mr. Dilly. First and foremost, thank you, Mr. Dilly, again. Kind words and all your hard work for making this night special for all of us. Thanks to CSM for recognizing me. It's truly an honor and privilege to be with all you guys in your presence and getting this induction. I want to thank my family, my mom and dad, for all your support over the years. My parents were at all my games. They did the fundraisers, ran the snack shack, they coached. You name it, they were there for me and my brother. I want to thank my brother Eric for giving me someone to play with, to guide, to mentor, to love, and for all the support. I want to thank my brother Sal, absolutely the epitome of my brother from another mother. Sal's been my BFF since we were 9 years old, and that's before BFF was a thing. He's been there to support me through thick and thin, always had my back, and we still talk damn near every day. I want to thank all my extended family and friends, aunts, uncles, cousins, my grandparents, close friends. My family was my motivation. The kids I coach today, I ask them to find out what their motivation is in them and not to lose it. And the main name on the back of my jersey is what motivated me to work hard, make them proud, and have the will to do more than the next guy to win on game day. I wanted to win, do well, play my hardest, so they could be proud of me in the stands when they came to watch me play. It was my time to shine and put on a show for them. I want to thank my wife, Twila, my two sons, Zach and Josh. They're my everything, my motivation in life. I've been with my wife for 32 years, since high school days. She's absolutely heaven sent and definitely my better half. I'm a better person, father, coach, and businessman because of her. You truly are my best friend, my life partner, and my baby mama. She's a badass woman, and I'm lucky and blessed to have her by my side. Twila, thank you and I love you. To my firstborn, Zach, I'm so honored and proud to be your father. You're smart, amazing, and you inspire me every day with your mental discipline, your six-pack abs. I used to have those once, a long time ago. Your future is bright, and you can do whatever you set your mind to. Zach, thank you, and I love you. To Joshua, I'm also proud and honored to be your pops. You're bigger, stronger, and just maybe faster than me. But I don't know, jury's still out. But definitely longer legs and bigger strides. But in all honesty, you're smart, hardworking, and living your dream at the highest level. You're on your own journey, and I want to thank you and tell you I love you. To all my coaches and teammates, without their guidance and support from all of them, none of this is possible. It's special to go into this class with Coach O, but if it wasn't for Coach Third recruiting me, I might have went to City. Coach O is the GOAT, not just to me, but to a lot of us. Thank you, Coach O, and I love you. Appreciate you. But I also have to mention and thank my first two Pop Warner coaches, Coach Lenny and Coach Dallas. After my first week of practice, I remember coming home, I'll get through it. And I got 5 minutes, so I'm only gonna take 6. I came home and I told my dad, all they do is yell and swear at me. My dad's response was, when they stop yelling and swearing at you, then we got a problem. They're coaching you because they want to get you better. They turned me from a kid who loved playing ball into a kid who loved being a football player and a violent beast on the field. They were old school. Lenny was a linebacker, and that's where he put me, right in the middle, seek and destroy. And from there on, for 24 years straight, I roamed the football field like a Roman gladiator, taking heads off and racking up bodies and making a name for myself. It's where I earned my respect. From my high school coaches, Coach Mike Tenerowitz, Frank Morrow, Rob Parker, Ron Keelong, Steve Nicolopoulos, Dave Hill, all my high school football coaches. Coach Herron, Biff Barnes, Jack Thurr, Todd Capizzello, Russell Patterson, all my CSM coaches. Coach Tim Walsh, Frank Scalercio, Lenny Wagner, Gerald Demery, Todd Little, all my Sonoma State Cossack coaches. Coach Bob Ryan and Mark Sultana was my baseball and basketball coaches in high school. They all played a role, and I thank you. A special thanks to Coach Tom Martinez. Martinez wasn't coaching for my 2 years here while I played, but he did come around and never shied away from telling me to stop bullshitting in the hole. Stop going side to side and get vertical and run north and south. I often say I wouldn't have as many records up here if he was in coaching because he liked to throw the damn ball too much. I did have the honor of coaching up here with him, and he was a special man. Coach Martinez, thank you, and I love you. Thanks to all my teammates along the way, all my offensive linemen, my fullbacks and receivers, even when they weren't blocking, just to get in the way of someone. Finally, circling back, segue to Mr. Dilly. That landmark event, it was where it all started for me, back on 844 Hemlock Avenue in South San Francisco, on the backside of Sign Mountain. I grew up with about 4 or 5 really close friends from the neighborhood. We all loved, went over the top with our sports. We competed hard, had wiffle ball leagues with home and away fields. We had stats, uniforms, over the top stuff for kids. We were our own video games. For football, we would gather up all the gear we could find and suit up for full gear tackle football games. My mom worked at JCPenney's, so I would get the plastic 49er helmets and uniform sets out of the old catalogs, all before you could buy them on the tap of your phone and have Amazon deliver them in 3 to 5 days. I thought I was had the cleanest gear out there, but I'm telling you, we would have night games where our parents would park the cars above the field and use their headlights to finish the games on Sunday nights because we just took it way too serious. But that landmark event was one of the kids from the neighborhood came out in a San Bruno Rams bike football helmet. And in my era, bike football helmets stood for something. And if you know, you know. But once I seen that helmet, I was hooked. It was the Cadillac of helmets, and I had to get one. So I went out, tried out for the Rams, got me that helmet, and the rest is history. Just a small, fast, tough little white kid from South City with the blue-collar work ethic, hard working. But then when I put on that helmet, I was like a football superhero, and the field was my playground. Tonight it comes full circle. I never played for trophies, never cared who I competed against. I just wanted to work hard, hit people in the mouth, and do my part to help teams win games. Proud to have done just that here at CSM. I'm a Bulldog for life. Thank you and God bless.
I wish you could have seen that guy play. In 1977 and 1978, CSM had an outstanding offensive tackle named Hugh Lovelace. Hugh Lovelace, very seldom is the offensive lineman voted most valuable player. That's how his teammates felt about him. How many people here are Facebook friends with Hugh? It's probably half the crowd. Not only was he an outstanding player, he's an outstanding person. Hugh, the microphone is yours.
Thanks, Gary. And I want to just let you know how honored I am to be part of your group, right? It's just unbelievable, special, the diversity, the winning spirit, could not be more happy to be with this group. I want to acknowledge, I have a fair number of teammates here either from Jeff, here from CSM, and a couple from Santa Clara. So thank you all for coming out. Really, really appreciate that. Coach, right, is there as a player, there's no more important word to us than coach. And those that are coaches here that are being honored, it's Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and Coach, right? Right in that order. And I'm lucky to have a lot of coaches here that I got to play with. So I was lucky enough to play for Rich Statler, who's up here in the corner. Bulldog Bill Dickey, up there in the corner. He's up there somewhere. I spoke with Jack Thur 2 days ago. Jack's health isn't doing too good, so keep him in your prayers. And finally, I want to acknowledge my high school coach, Jack Burgett, up there, 85 years young. And as a coach, encouraging words go a long way to an athlete. And Jack took me aside at Jefferson. He encouraged me that I could play beyond high school and maybe do something more. Trust me, we only won one game in 2 years, so it took a lot of encouragement. But I came down here to CSM, and I came down here with a great group of guys. So I really, in the time I have, I got plenty of time, right? Okay, so, the thread is for me kind of what CSM has meant for me in my life, really after athletics, right? And you can read about everything that happened on the field, and you can hear about stuff that happened off the field, up at the bar. But my life at CSM, I'm going to go back to an instance. I'm interviewing for my first professional job, and I walk in the door, and the man's name is Larry Giffen. So those of you who were paying attention earlier, Larry Giffen was the son of Cliff Giffen, one of our earlier inductees. And Larry says, if I got Tom Martinez and Bill Dickey down here, what do you think they would say? I'd say, put the plaque on the door, I got the job. So I did get the job, went on to a career at Xerox, and that thread that started off from here at CSM led me to my wife of 27 years, Parvane. Also led to her good friend, Andrea Spears. Andrea Spears and Parvane worked together, and Andrea was dating this mullet soccer guy. It's crazy. It turns out that the mullet soccer guy is the soccer coach, soon to be athletic director at Skyline. Interviews down here at CSM, asked me, hey, I'm interviewing at CSM, what do you think? And I said, dude, you got to be a Bulldog. It's special, special place. And here he is 25 years later, our athletic director, Andreas Wolf. And his family's here as well, Andrea, Logan, Matt. Is Maddie here? Maddie is not here, and they're here. I also want to acknowledge my kids that are here, Nate, Faraday are down there, all CSM students, athletes, although they finished up at Kenyatta, don't hold that against them, and they went forward from there. So my life at CSM and my life post-life, I'm just going to use two of my former teammates as examples of kind of how CSM was impactful and the people that I got to associate with in my life, and then they're both here. First is like the most stubborn guy anyone would ever know. We started in 6th grade together. We went to Jeff. Of course, I'm always balking, making him a star. And we ended up down here at CSM. We put together junk cars to get here. We used a 20-man carpool to get down here every day for practice. Back in the day, Daly City to CSM, not only did it seem like an eternity to get down here, but it was just a lifestyle difference coming from Daly City, Jeff, down here to CSM. Edgardo Mixco has been with me the whole way. Ed played fullback here at CSM. And stubborn, he refused to give up. He walks on at Cal, earns a scholarship, starts at fullback at Cal. And Ed and I have been hammering our heads together ever since. And Ed's right over here. Say hi, Ed. Even more so associated with me in my time at CSM is probably the cockiest guy that you'd ever want to meet. And if you didn't know it, his dad was up in the stands with a binder full of the San Mateo Times press clippings. That cockiness, soon I come to know it to be competitiveness. And his competitive spirit was what bonded me to him. And we went forward from there with that competitiveness. He went on to shatter the receiving records. He's a CSM Hall of Famer, Perry Parmalee. Perry and I then recruited Perry to come down to Santa Clara. Rusty Weeks up here is a recruiting coordinator, built these great teams we had at Santa Clara, 7th and 3rd in the nation. Thank you, Rusty. And So we brought Perry together, and I was voted by my teammates to be most valuable player that year. And, it's hard to be most valuable player as a left tackle, I'm telling you, unless maybe you got Orlando Pace, coach. But I think half the reason I got the votes for most valuable player was for recruiting Perry to come down to Santa Clara. He made a big difference for us and really helped drive his competitiveness and feed that into everybody in our program at Santa Clara. So Perry and I have been together through life's highs and lows, mainly highs. We had a few rough spots in the years, and he's here tonight as well. And God bless you, my brother. I'm honored you're here, man. So then in closing, I've been around, maybe you noticed, right? I seem to be know everybody. I've been around here my adult life, and I live on the peninsula, and I love the College of San Mateo. I love the people I meet up here. I love the athletes. I enjoy going to events up here. Whatever the team is, I'm here. I'm in, and it's just a fantastic environment. Those of you that don't have an opportunity to come up here, you're really missing out. The facilities up here is state of the art. It's absolutely spectacular, and really three men who really put these facilities together and put these opportunities together for so many athletes up here are here. And one of them is Gary Dilley. You guys know Gary, our host. Great friend over the years, and honored to be up on the stage with you, Gary. The next is his predecessor, Andreas Wolf, who I introduced earlier. But all the facilities, all these fields, everything that came together, the softball stadium, the new football field, the soon-to-come new gym, right? Another bond measure, vote for your next bond measure, soon-to-come gym. All of that was driven by them. And then finally, he's retiring, and a friend and neighbor, Mike Clare. Is Mike still here, or did he take off? Then when you're the chancellor, you get to leave. But Mike Clare was really the shepherd of all this. So just in closing, I love CSM. I love this family. So, and Jennifer, no pressure. Just keep it going. 40 more years, okay? We're counting on you. Let's bring it. And so just thank you for this honor. Extremely honored. God bless you all, and God bless the College of San Mateo.
Well done, Hugh. Our next inductee is a very special coach. Coach Dick Vermeil is fresh off the NFL Hall of Fame. This is not quite as prestigious. However, Coach Vermeil was an assistant coach, a backfield coach at College of San Mateo in 1963. And I think I have something important to say about Coach Vermeil and other outstanding coaches who have been at College of San Mateo. It's not how long you are here, but the quality of work that you do here and the quality of work that you do after you leave, because all of that helps to develop our culture. And we truly believe we have a culture of excellence, both academic and athletic, and we're really proud that Coach Vermeil is part of our College of San Mateo culture. From growing up in the Napa Valley, Hillsdale High School, CSM, Napa Junior College, Stanford, LA Rams, UCLA, Rose Bowl. Ted Tollner won a Rose Bowl too at that other school in Southern California, USC, but we won't talk about that. And Eagles, Cowboys, Rams, Chiefs, Super Bowl. Coach, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Is this working properly? Honorees, CSM alums, John Noche, good friend, old-timer like me. Bill Dickey, where's Bill? Old friend. I noticed as I saw him today, old-timer too, okay? It's an honor to be here today. I tried to talk the people out of doing what they said they were going to do to induct me into this Hall of Fame. I said, Fred's looking at me and smiling. I said, I don't belong in the Hall of Fame. I only spent 1 year there. And he said, well, you know, we have athletes that come here and only play 1 year. If they're in the Hall of Fame, why not a coach? So I accepted with pride, I was on this campus the very first year it opened, the new campus up on the hill. We practiced football down at the old place, down on the field. So we taught up here, then drove down there every day, which created many problems for athletes from time to time, getting to practice on time. But anyway, Cliff was really good to me. I replaced Doug Scoville, an outstanding football coach that went on to the Naval Academy. Now they hired this guy, Dick Vermeil, from Hillsdale High School with no college experience to replace Doug Scoville. I could not do that with that kind of experience that I had. And Cliff, like any coach, was used to Doug Scoville. Now here's this guy with no college experience. We only won 4 games, and I was a contributor to many of those losses, I'm sure. But I enjoyed Cliff Giffen. We had a good relationship. We talked from years on and followed each other, which I take pride in. And I take pride in being called a Bulldog. My family's originated here in San Mateo on Highland Boulevard, the Vermeil family. My grandmother and grandfather right there. My dad went to San Mateo High School for conversation. But Hillsdale High School was very good to me. Homer Zugelder was the basketball coach. We remained lifetime friends. I learned as much about coaching from Homer Zugelder as I learned from anybody I ever coached with. And people, you mentioned him. He's a difference maker. He made a difference in my career. And all these people, I know what a great coach Bill Dickey was, I had relationships with him through John Ralston at Stanford University. But I appreciate the opportunity to be here and share these thoughts with you. I respect what you do. This campus is absolutely beautiful. You know, I didn't know what to expect. I really did not know what to expect. I didn't know how to get back on campus. I had to call head coach here, really. He instructed me on my cell phone. But anyway, thank you very much for providing me with this opportunity. Thank you.
I don't want to pass this opportunity to congratulate and acknowledge Coach Vermeil's work in charity work. He's a great humanitarian, and I think that's part of what made him such a good, highly successful football coach and broadcaster. Following along now in kind of a theme, we have an NFL coach. Now we have a couple Bulldogs who made it to the NFL as players. They have some similarities. They both went to Carlmont High School. They both are defensive players. They both were All-Americans. They both met their wife here at CSM, not the same woman. The first I'm going to bring up is Ryan Boschetti. Ryan Boschetti was a defensive end here. He ran like a deer, and he could really bring the heat. He had an extremely high work ethic. If he wrote a book, I think it would be called Eating Quarterbacks for Lunch. Had a career record at CSM of 20 sacks. He was really fun to watch. He went on to play at UCLA and then with the Washington Redskins. Ryan, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach Dilly, Mr. Wolf. I appreciate it. I am honored to be here tonight. When I got the phone call, I was fortunate enough to get it from the man that I'm being inducted with tonight, Coach Owens. So I'm doubly blessed to be getting inducted with my head coach as well. Congratulations to the other inductees, but I know you'll hear some good things about Coach O, but I do have to spend a second personally thank you for your leadership, your counsel. I wouldn't be here today without you, so I appreciate you, Coach O. There's a couple other coaches I want to recognize. Coach P is here tonight, my D-line coach. Keeping it real up there. It was fun playing for Coach P. I love you. Thank you for being here. And of course, the head man now, Coach Tim Tulloch. He recruited me back from Carlmont High School. We weren't very good. Stay with me as I gray-shirted through numerous surgeries. I think more than anything, Coach T stayed with me when I played in the NFL, but has just been a real good example for our family. I can't say enough about him. I appreciate everything he did for me. I know one day he'll probably be joining us up here because of his sacrifice to the Bulldog family. So, Coach T, if you're still here, I know you had to go watch your kid tonight. I love you, man. I appreciate you. A few former players that I would be remiss if I didn't recognize: James Jean, James Keene, Julian, Kuso, our middle linebacker as a defensive lineman. Appreciating your middle linebackers who come and clean things up for you. I go to war with you anytime, Kuso. Let me see. Our quarterback, Jay Stone, Jason Douglas. So good friend of mine. You know, on defense, they pretty much asked you to go do one thing, and that's go get the ball back. And almost every time we did, they'd do something with it. So Jay Stone, Coach Pollock, that side of the ball, you helped me be a better player, let me get my shine on defense, so I appreciate you guys. One more player I got to recognize. He schooled me up in basketball more times than I can remember. He's now the defensive line coach for the Bulldogs. Coach Hardy, if you're in here, I appreciate you, man. It was great having you as a teammate. I love you, brother. I appreciate what you're doing. I hope your boys just give them hell all day tomorrow in the backfield. So I appreciate that. I'm almost done. I'll be quick. Tonight I have here with me, I'm blessed to have my father with me here, an original Bulldog, wrestler, football player, track star. Pops, you're always my biggest fan. I want you to know that I'm yours. Angie, thank you for being here with him tonight. My mom, my inspiration. One of the reasons I'm here tonight is obviously because of my work ethic. I think Coach O will tell you that. A lot of coaches that I played with. Mom, you know I got that from you. I think it's easy to outwork people when the lights are on, but when everybody's gone home and the gym's empty or the field's empty, what you do then is really the test of a player and a man. So, Mom, I love you for that. My wife, Carmont Scott with me, Bulldog with me, Bruin with me, Redskin, Raider. I share this word with you tonight more than anybody else. I love you. You've always been my rock. You blessed me with 3 wonderful children, and for that, I'm forever grateful. I love you, babe. Thank you. And then I'll finish tonight. They've heard me talk since they were little. I'm glad you guys made it through all these speeches tonight. To my 3 kids, keep dreaming big, work with a passion, and enjoy every minute of your journey. I can't wait to see it along the way. Once a Bulldog, always a Bulldog. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Ryan Boschetti. He was really fun to watch. Our next athlete, one of the fastest athletes we ever had on the football team, and he was an outstanding track and field athlete. This is Paul Bradford. Come on up here, Paul. Paul Bradford was an all-state defensive back. He transferred to Portland State. He was an all-conference defensive back there. He signed with the Chargers. He was a fantastic player for the Chargers until unfortunate injury came along. Intercepted a couple passes, ran them back for a touchdown, scooped up a fumble against the 49ers, ran that back for a touchdown. It's stuff that, legend is made out of. He was a NorCal long jump champion, state meet competitor in the 100 and in the long jump. Just a wonderful, wonderful person. Paul Bradford, I'm so glad that you're here today and that you're in our Hall of Fame.
First and foremost, I want to thank God for blessing me with my athletic ability that allowed me to be here this evening. I also like to thank the committee for my selection. It's a true honor, and I'm humbled beyond words. Sports is more than just putting on a jersey on game day. Sports is not just about my commitment, my hard work, my talent. Sports is about the commitment and the hard work and talent from my family, my coaches, my teammates, and everyone in between. From from the sports announcer to the water boy to the gardener that cuts the grass. Coach Herron, I love you. You believed in me during a time of such loss. You unselfishly gave your heart and time to a young man, not just a player. Thank you. Coach Owens, you were the muscle and the father figure and counselor. You always welcomed us with either a warm embrace or a well-deserved kick. We weren't giving our all. You pushed us to be better versions of ourselves. And Coach Dilly, your kindness and patience, devotion is inspiring. You possess the ability to make everyone feel important and equal. You spotlight everyone's hard work. No one was the best, we were the best. I thank you. You all were extraordinary gentlemen. To my Bulldog brothers, thank you for sharing your all. We cried, laughed, and bled together. We became one family, a bunch of slappies that bonded together. To this day, we watch out for one another, cheer each other on, and encourage each other. Go Bulldogs. My children, thank you for always working hard and understanding when the moment belongs to you. My daughters, Bea and Estrella, you are wonderful ladies with strong beliefs and caring hearts. Thank you for always making me feel like a hero. And to my sons, Antonio and Alfonso, my hardworking men, thank you for always doing your best and understanding that you must always do what is right. I'm proud of you guys. And to my wife, Margarita Bradford, the mother of my children, my best friend who I met here at CSM 30 years ago. You are the engine of our family. I'm honored and privileged to have you as my partner through the journey we call life. Your strength, beauty, and most of all, your courage inspires me to be a better man and father. Love you. And finally, I'd like to thank my mama, Lula Mae Brooks Jackson. She is the main reason why I'm standing here this evening. Words can't express how much I love you. You took me in and raised me as your own son. You taught me how to be a man. You showed me that humility is not weakness. It takes a lot of strength and courage to put your ego aside. You showed me there is honor in working hard and never be ashamed of getting your hand dirty to provide for your family. You were always there for me. The countless hours spent helping with my homework, drive me to my sporting events. I could always count on you. You were there for me for my first home run, my first 100-meter run, win, my first touchdown. You saved my life in so many ways. You even jumped in the lake and saved me when I was drowning when you couldn't swim. You gave me your all and willing to give me your life to help me. I love you. The only regret I have in life is you weren't able to meet my wife and my children, and I hope that I make you proud. Thank you, and God bless.
I love that guy. I'm going to bring up now a very special part of the CSM football team, Kurt Sandvik. Kurt Sandvik, come on up here, Kurt. Do you remember me? Right there, buddy. Okay, so 45 years. This is the 45th year Kurt Sandvik has been the ball boy at College of San Mateo. And he's been extremely conscientious. He's done an incredible job. He's loyal to the Bulldogs, to the core. And I would like to have Kurt tell you how it came about that he became the ball boy for College of San Mateo football. Step right up there, Kurt.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say that I really appreciate, being in the Hall of Fame. I really never thought that in my life that anything like this would ever happen. And that, that I'm really proud to be here with a bunch of good and great candidates. And then, how I first came here is after I got out of high school. I came here to College of San Mateo for 2 years. And then the first year I just thought I'd see if I can maybe even help with football. And then I went down, to the football field to look for the head coach, Bill Dickey. And I just, asked him if I can come out and help out with football. And he said, sure. And that's how I've been, started. And I've been here with, 6, great coaches. One of them is in the induction, getting inducted too. Larry Owens, all his stuff. Any other?
So Kurt, one of the things that Coach Dickey told me was that he checked with the Cappuccino guys. He said, what's, can this guy do the job? And they said, oh yeah, you got to hire him as the ball boy because he's been working at Cappuccino, helping the athletic program there, and has done a fantastic job. Kurt, I want to congratulate you.
Yeah, I just want to say one more
Thank
thing.
you for all of your CSM Bulldog spirit.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing.
Oh, one more thing.
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank, my brother Eric for being here and Joyce, who's been here, been in my, life helping me out. And the Cappuccino players that you're just talking about, they went to high school with my brother. I was at Crestmore, but they knew me, because it was, and Eric probably remember Greg Lay and Dennis Haskins. Yeah, and they were all, schoolmates of my brother.
Fantastic career, Kurt. Thank you very much. Go to the Bulldogs. The penultimate inductee, second to the last, Ken Herron, also referred to as Pops. Ken Herron has been the equipment manager here at College of San Mateo since 1993. We share a common bond as being fellow MA Bears, go Bears. But when I was a Bear, Ken was in the crib. He was just born that year. So we didn't really meet till CSM, and we're fellow Bulldogs. I want to make a point as an equipment manager. That person doesn't often get a whole lot of respect. But the point I have is that, and if anybody here is a district employee, I think this is very important to hear. It doesn't matter what your level is, what your job is in the district. Everybody is an important person because we're all here to serve students. And despite the fact that Ken's job was getting equipment ready and getting facilities ready, what he's really been doing since 1993 is coaching kids and being a second conscience for them and being a substitute uncle or a substitute dad. And that's kind of a lead-in for you to tell us, how come they call you Pops?
Well, thank you, Gary. Gary was part of my hiring committee back in '93, along with Coach O and Deb LaLuso. So thank you guys for that. And then Gary was my supervisor for many years to follow before Andreas became my mentor and advisor. And that basically led me to this point. I get called Pops as one of the shorter guys. I get called Pops out of sign of respect, at least that's the way I'd hope to consider it. It started from my son and his teammates that I had coached in Pop Warner in high school, then while they were here at CSM. Samessa and Ben, these guys were little teeny guys, snot-nosed and that's when I first met him, and now to bring him up to this level. The Pops thing is kind of carried over. Steve didn't like to call me Dad. He didn't like to call me, Coach. It was easier to call Pops. It's led to a lot of great memories. CSM is 35. I think outside of Kurt and probably Pat Fitzgerald, the former trainer, they have seen more games than I have. But I've seen close to 400 CSM football games, countless other basketballs, softballs. I can't even count how many of those games I've been at. So it's been very rewarding. It's also left some great memories. Christy, I remember you pitching against Tony Vargas against the track shed down below and struck him out after practice one night. Dave Hansen, I remember first game that Dave Hansen played in, he was the deep back on a punt return. He was the deep right guy. The punt went deep left. The next punt went deep left. I'm in charge up in the press box for the punt returns. I said, switch them. Put Dave to the other side. Dave went to the house, scored a touchdown against Dianza. He didn't say thank you, but, it occurred. I have, these tons of memories of driving all over the state in a van with Larry Owens driving, Tom Martinez and Russ Patterson, Jack Thurr. I mean, these guys would make me laugh so hard, my stomach would hurt, and I'd just beg them to stop. One of the greatest, most satisfying memories I will have of my time here is when my son led us to Silicon Valley Bowl victory. He played quarterback. Watching him drive that field that day, very powerful. It was awesome. I have Paul Bradford here. I coach Paul. I am a 49er hard, devoted individual, except when Steve Young rolled out and fumbled the ball, and Paul picked it up. Here I am at Candlestick Park, and Paul Bradford picks up a fumble and goes 70 yards for a touchdown. And I'm screaming every bit of the way, run, go, go, go. First time I ever went against the 49ers, it was for Paul. So I have tons. I have to tell one little memory, that one that means probably the most. We played Chabot in a rainstorm. Monsoon, the rain's coming down. It was so bad that all the cameramen went inside the press box. And I was up in the press box with Tom Martinez. Him and I are two small guys. We didn't fit. So I went to the field. And I got down on the field and I looked up there. And in this rainstorm, there was a cameraman up on top of the press box. One cameraman. It was my dad. He was our filmer. He did the filming for our team. And he didn't want to go into the press box because you'd get different panels of the people in the press box. He wanted the video up top. But I knew he was up there for me. I was very blessed with great parents. I have my sister here. She was my first remote. Remember, Patty, can you change the channel? She did it all. I have my brother that, made me play up. I didn't play with the kids my age. He made me play up with his friends. So you have to get better. Otherwise, he'd hit me anyway. So, I think of CSM as, a place that changed, if I sit up here and tell you guys about what Larry Owens and what he's done, and he's heard it before. He knows I love him. He's like a brother to me. I won't even go to that level. I do want to say to my family, they had to sacrifice the most. And I remember Martinez telling me, Kenny, don't do as I did. Don't give up so much of your family time. Spend it with your family. And of course, as all these coaches, players know, in order to be in this industry, you're going to be a gone. And so to my kids, Steve, Jess, Katie, and Kenny, thank you guys. You guys, you went out and got great spouses, gave me great grandkids so far. I got 5 grandkids, so you probably saw the little ones running around. So I thank all of you. I thank the angels that saved my life in this job, Deb LaLusso, Brooke McKinney, and Jacqueline Gosi. You guys have done everything to put me in the right place at the right time, and I thank you guys. And finally, babe, I love you. Thank you.
In 1984, Larry Owens came to College of San Mateo as an assistant coach, and that was following a very successful run as a head coach, assistant coach, and a head coach at Woodside High School. He was recruited here. I'll let him tell you about that. In 1990, he became our head coach. He was 21 years CSM's head coach, second in time only to Murius McFadden, who was the second coach in the history of College of San Mateo. Larry grew up in Redwood City. He was born in Richmond, grew up in Redwood City. In 1997, to celebrate the 75th anniversary of College of San Mateo, I got the bright idea, let's put an entry into the 4th of July parade in Redwood City. And so Vice President Grace Sonner got Professor Rory Takata. She said, hey, I got a great idea. Rory, you're an art professor. How about making a bulldog, put it on top of a truck? So Rory thought it was a pretty good idea, I guess. He built this giant papier-mâché bulldog on top of a Toyota pickup truck, and Rory drove down El Camino in the big bulldog all the way to the Redwood City Parade. Well, Larry leads the football team. There it is. Larry leads the football team. There's the bulldog. There's the cheerleaders. We had a bunch of football players, and Larry was responsible for holding up the parade because so many people in Redwood City know Larry, they all wanted to talk to him. Coach, can you move it? We're trying to move this parade along. I know we're trying to move into our campus center. And so, Larry, I'm calling you to the mic. You're the end, buddy. You're the start, you're the end, you're my man. I give you Larry Owens.
Thank you all for first being here tonight. Gary, thank you for the kind words and everything. Man, that was a long time ago back with that bulldog there. I didn't think that was going to ever come back out. You know, I won't keep you here long. I mean, I know it's been a long night, but this is a special night. You know, I'm so proud to be with everybody here up in this class. It's a big time achievement for me, you know, just because most of these people I know, I've watched, I've seen, and I have the utmost respect for all you guys here, and thank you. I mean, congratulations. I just want to, like I said, I'm not going to take long. I just want to say a few things. It's hard to replace Kenny. I'm going to try not to get emotional, but I just want to say, first of all, thanks to my family, my mom. She's up there. My mom is 88 years old, and I'm lucky to have her, and I appreciate you. Also, my sisters, they're here scattered somewhere. My nieces and nephews and family are here, and I just want to thank them for being a part of what I've gone through. I want to thank my wife. She's right here in front. She's a very special lady to me. And I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, you know, a few years ago, we had a setback in our life. My wife had a aorta dissection and almost died. And, she had, on the table, she had a heart attack and 3 strokes. And a couple weeks later, they amputated her legs. And the strength I get from her every day is amazing. And I love you. Thank you so much for being part. I was fortunate enough many years ago to come across Coach Tom Martinez, who like my guy. He hired me to come on to be the D-line coach here at CSM. I was at Woodside High School, and there's several athletes from Woodside High School here tonight that surprised me. Perry Parmley, Jimmy Christensen, Manny McDaniel, and where is he? Mesha Spivey. I think they're still here. I got here, and Coach Martinez hired me, and I was like, I've always wanted to try to coach college and didn't know if I could, didn't know much about it. But the biggest thing, he believed in me and gave me an opportunity. And I think what our president said earlier today was what this is opportunity. And it gave me an opportunity. I was a young African-American male who, at that time, there wasn't a lot of African-American coaches, head coaches. And so when I took this opportunity, I wanted to make the best of it. I wanted to make sure that the College of San Mateo, the people who hired me, I wanted to make them proud. And as of right now, today, I think I've done that with this honor that I received tonight. I want to thank some people, and I owe it to them. But a lot of these facilities that you saw, that you see, we have a special man that gave us this opportunity, and that was Ron Galatolo, who was our chancellor several years ago. When I first started, like we were said before, this place was a little bit different. Now it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's updated, it's have all the facilities. And the only reason our success has happened on the athletic fields is because of Ron. I want to thank also Mike Clare, our president. A lot of times, what you got to understand is a lot of times the presidents don't want to see the football coaches coming up or coaches coming up and talking to them. They want you to stay down there and they're away. They don't want you up. But the one thing I love about Mike, he gave us an opportunity to come and speak to him and talk to him and tell him some of our trials and tribulations that we're going through. I want to thank Gary Dilley. He hired me. He was on the committee, and I'll never forget when he told me that I had the job. I think we met over at Roosevelt Elementary School in Redwood City, and I was proud. It was a happy day. At that time, I was coaching at Humboldt State and got the job, and I can't say much more. I love this place. Andreas Wolf was the other AD that I had. Thank you, Andreas, for everything. Thank you for getting me into the Hall of Fame here, because he didn't have me come to the meeting, so I couldn't vote on myself. Thought I forgot about that. Okay. Also, I want to thank, and I know some of them are here, I want to thank the physical education staff members. When I first started, I think Angela remember this. I was a young guy, and they treated me like a young guy. Like if you have a younger brother, you get to go do that, go do this, and that kind of thing. But I want to thank them. And I think CSM has legendary coaches, not just in football, but in all sports. And congratulations, John Nochi, on his award. That's an amazing award. And, not just everyone gets that. So I want to thank all those people who were a part of it. Some are with us and some aren't, but they made a big difference in my life. So thank you to the physical education staff at CSM. Stats, you're my man. I want to also thank a couple staff assistants, because when I was here, I went through 3 staff assistants. One, Deborah LaLusa, who, like Kenny said, helped me tremendously through those times. other Brooke McKinney. Thank you, Brooke, for all the things you did for me and helped me. And also, I want to thank Jacqueline Pagosi. Thank you very much for all the stuff that you did for us and still do. Man, coaches, guys I coach with, guys I coach for, I appreciate you. Thank you. I learned a great deal from you guys, watching, observing. I know I learned a long time ago, you have 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth for a reason. And I appreciate that. And I learned, and I hope I did you guys proud. Thank you. Obviously, the biggest part, players, both men and women. You know, I know a lot of people don't know, but I did coach softball with Coach Martinez, and we had some great trips, great times. And I look around, I'm looking, you know, Christy's right here, Nicole, I had the pleasure of coaching. You know, you guys were awesome and unbelievable. I see Kim Borsatz up there. You know, I know B. Godoy and some other people around there. It's hard to see because the lights are flashing in my eyes, but, you know, I love coaching the women. That was fun. That was enjoyable. Some of our trips, I will not say what was said on the vans, but just to let you know, it was enjoyable. I loved it. I'm glad I was a part of it. I know that there's a couple players up here, football players that play for me. I appreciate you. Appreciate everything you did. But there's a lot of guys out there. And before we leave, I just want, guys, if you played for me and you're here, please stand up. Whether you're CSM, Woodside, doesn't matter, please stand up. I just got to tell you guys, stand up, Perry. You ain't that old. Get up. You ain't that old. I just want to tell you guys from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Because the reason I'm here is because of you guys. And I really appreciate all the hard work and the efforts that you gave in to us to give me an opportunity to be here. So thank you guys very much. I really appreciate you. You're welcome. It's my pleasure. But as I finish, I just want to say this, and I know people want to have some drinks and cocktails and some food to eat. I just want to say, you know, anybody that I forgot along the journey that I went through, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because this place means a great deal to me. I love Bulldog Blue. I bleed Bulldog Blue. That's why I got my jacket, because I tell you one thing, you know, once a Bulldog, always a Bulldog. Thank you.
Larry Owens. Before I ask Andreas Wolf to come back to the mic and give some quick instructions about what happens now, I want to thank you for allowing me to be your MC tonight. I want to thank my wife, sister, son, my daughter-in-law, the little kids for being here to help support the Bulldog cause. My son was a track and field athlete here, a state meet competitor. And so he's a Bulldog. They're all Bulldogs. My sister was a Bulldog. My wife was a Bulldog. Claudia was a Bulldog. Thank you very much.
Good job, Gary. On. All right. Okay. Last thing. How about one more nice round of applause for our inductees? So we are now going to make our way over to the Building 10, Bayview Dining, first floor. Go on in. There's hors d'oeuvres, cocktails, etc. Before you leave the evening tonight, when you check out, if you just drop your badge into the little bag, we have a goodie bag for you as you exit. Those of you that need some assistance getting over there, there's some carts out there. We thank you all for your patience. Have a great time at the social.